Welcome once again to the Squared Circle Maniacs Wrestling Podcast. My name is Johnny Bottles, and I'm joined by the gentleman to my left, Mr. Don Wayne, and the gentleman down there, the mighty Motorhead 711, the king of the SCM, the Squared Circle Maniacs, on Twitter. It's a chapter, or it's a club. It's not a motorcycle gang, but hey, we could be working on that. You never know. Folks, it's a tumultuous... a very tumultuous chain of events in the world of professional wrestling, not just with the WWE, but also with AEW. And if you want to factor Impact or MLW into all this, we'll show you how that gets factored in also, even though there's no groundbreaking news from Impact or MLW right now. But there could be. From what we have to cover.
I think they've done all they're going to do today. Sorry for the delay, folks. We have had massive internet issues. My God in heaven. If it's not one thing, it's another. I don't even know where to start right now with this nonsense. Johnny, where do you want to start? Because I'm looking at last night's results, and I got the firings all lined up. Wherever you want to go, I'm ready for it.
Let's go. Let's go chronologically right now. Let's go with AEW. AEW had their, you could say it was a pay-per-view on free TV.
Worthy. Pay-per-view worthy television product.
And I will say that they put on a good show last night, with the exception of two events that did happen.
This is what we talk about all the damn time.
All the time.
They give us, there's portions of this show that gave me everything I wanted to see in a good wrestling product, and there were portions of this show that was a bunch of happy horse shit that I didn't want to see anything of. None of it.
They pull that crap all the damn time now. It's ridiculous because it's almost becoming a trend. They do the programs, either one, Collision, Rampage, and most of the time it's complete garbage. But every once in a while they throw you a carrot, and it's like, oh man, there you go. Okay, cool, we can watch this. And then they shit the bed again. Yes,
motor. When they throw you that carrot, it always winds up in your asshole. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Just last night, it was like, okay, it was like bad, good, great. That's almost how it felt in my head.
I totally agree, Don. There were some bright spots in the program, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. And we've already talked about before in the past. We want them to succeed. We want them to do well. It's always good to have more wrestling, but
get close to that microphone, brother. Get close to that mic.
Sir. Is that better?
That's better.
Can you hear me now, baby?
Yeah.
So they just Tony Khan's got to stop playing with dolls and start dealing with people. Stop playing with dolls and sheets and statistics and start dealing with people. He has a whole roster of actual people, not these little action figures and the stuff he did with his fantasy wrestling crap in the basement. If he would stick to that or get somebody to help him, this program might take off and give a WWE a run for their money, a legitimate run for the money like WCW.
Well, last night's show was pretty good. Johnny, where do you want to start? You want to start with the first match?
Let's go with the very first match. We'll break it all
that's what I was saying. Let's go in order of this because Claudio Castagnoli and Eddie Kingston, right? I'm not a huge Eddie Kingston guy. There were moments in the past year that he got my attention and I could get behind him. This match last night, and I don't know if it was on Castagnoli or what, but this was the best match I've seen Kingston have, I think, probably in the past year. It was no nonsense.
It was probably on Castagnoli.
It probably is, but there was no happy horse shit. It was a grueling match. They beat the hell out of each other. They both looked tired. Well, Kingston looked dead-ass tired. It was title versus title. One of them was, neither one of the titles means a damn thing. But, it is what it is. They're going to fight for a championship. I thought the match was great. I thoroughly enjoyed this first match. It set the tone for the night. And when the show went off course, this is the reason why. This match set the tone for what they were going to do last night. And if you didn't follow suit, you fell behind the wayside.
Yeah. The only fault that I can think about with that actual match would be like the genius Francis Ristede on Twitter, who I follow and he follows me. He said a couple of weeks ago that the Butcher looks like a wrestler from the tag team, the Butcher and the Blade. And Eddie Kingston looks like a butcher because they were both in the ring together. Eddie Kingston looks like he does not belong in a wrestling ring, and he looks like one of us was transported magically into an AEW ring and told to fake fight, play fight Claudio Castagnoli. Castagnoli got a good match out of that guy, and no one else can.
Great match.
No one else can, because we've seen Eddie Kingston in the ring before, and he's horrendous. He's got buggy whip arms, like Jim Cornette would say. And
of course.
It's what you like the match. I like Claudio Castagnoli. He's wasting his time there. What I didn't like about the whole thing was, and they do this in a lot of these matches, you hit me, and then I'll hit you. And then you hit me again, and I'll hit you, and you hit me, and we'll see who's the tough guy.
To rehearse.
It's a wrestling match. You want to pin a fucking guy. You want to knock him down. You want to pin him, get the win, by any means necessary, within the rules, of course.
Fight.
It's a struggle. You just don't stand there and let another guy beat the shit out of you. You go ahead and smack the guy. And it's horrendous.
Did Wheeler Yuta need to be there? Did Wheeler Yuta need to be there?
They had to have something for him to do.
Huh?
They had to have something for him to do. He parked all the rental cars that evening. There was nothing else for him to do.
Well, catering was done at that point in time, so catering was closed. So I don't know what else he could do. I'm not a big fan of Wheeler Yuta. I'm not going to beat around the bush. The guy's he's a suitcase carrying dude. Nothing about his in-ring work impresses me. Not impressed with it. Here's what I want to do, right? I want to give each one of these matches a grade, right? I'd give this match a solid B+. Minus the bullshit hitting back and forth. I thought it was a solid match. Mike Digital said the last time Kingston looked decent, he was at the NWA Power Days. I have no idea how far back that is, but I'm sure it's back.
Not that far along. Yeah. Wasn't that long ago. And
we're talking 5, 6 years, 7 years.
Wrestling in front of 200 people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yep.
Well, I thought it was a solid B+ match. I thought I was entertained and set the tone because this next piece of shit we got, Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
A rerun.
Oh my God!
It was Don Motorhead.
Go.
It was deja vu all over again with that Sammy Guevara Chris Jericho match because they recycled the closing angle from Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels when Jericho was in the WWE. It was
thought no one would notice.
Shit.
Thought no one would notice.
And you go on Twitter today, and it was all blown up. Jericho down on his knees, hugging Sammy Guevara around the waist, trying to climb up. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. After he got kicked in the nuts. And the other picture, Don, was Shawn Michaels and Jericho in the exact same pose back in the day in WWE. What, 15 years ago? 10 years ago?
Yeah, something like that. So, that was bad enough. Honest to God, that was bad enough. The part that really got me was when Sammy Guevara missed the shit out of that kick on the ring apron. Just missed it altogether. And, I would expect a guy like Chris Jericho to find a way to work around that missed spot, and he didn't. He did nothing. He sold a bad spot and just sort of slumped over the ropes. And I was like, Chris, you're a veteran of this thing now for over 30 years, or almost 30 years now. Right at it. You've got to find a way to make this work for you. It was a bad match. It was a bad angle. Your copy. Here's the thing that I don't understand, right? Usually when you see guys borrow from other wrestlers in the past, it's not their own past they're borrowing from. It's somebody else's history. It's somebody else's angle. You don't do your own shtick in a different company. It doesn't work that way, dude. Made no sense. Trash. D-. Couldn't stand it.
Here's one from Gil. Jericho and Sammy were in two different gears the whole match. He's exactly right.
He is.
Exactly right, Gil.
Damn right.
Sammy tried slowing down considerably, and Jericho still couldn't catch up. Jericho is the Vince Neil of professional wrestling.
The current Vince Neil, not the 1980s kick-ass bikini models on his arm.
Damn it, Bottles. Yeah, that is a great analogy right there. He is the current Vince Neil of professional wrestling. He can't sing anymore. He can't move no more. He goes through the motions. Boom. Perfect.
He's got that sunken chest. He makes Kofi Kingston looked like Arnold Schwarzenegger with that sunken chest of his. He got all the fat sucked out through liposuction, which I did hear that back when he came in with a six-pack abs. All of a sudden, the week before he was fat. And a week later, he comes into the ring with six-pack abs. People are wondering how he did it. What, you think he starved himself? He had lipo. He had it all sucked out.
I don't know if he did that or not. I don't know if he did that or not. I just know this. That
you can never confirm or deny. Yes.
That match sucked. I was glad when it was over with. And the angle at the end with Sammy Guevara, Jordan Numbnuts, I don't even care, man. I just don't even care.
It was horrible. It was horrible. Jericho needs to be an agent. He needs to be an announcer. And don't get me started on the goddamn announcing. It's a revolving door of people coming in and out of that announce booth.
Terrible.
Here's who you need. You need Ian Riccaboni, the ROH announcer, to get off the goddamn website that they have Ring of Honor on.
I know. Yeah.
Honor Club or whatever the hell they call it.
Get rid of Sockface.
Kill that.
Sockface is gone. Get rid of his ass. Yep.
Well, Sockface would have a great career as an auctioneer. As fast as he has to recite everything. Jim Ross, talent relations. Christopher Daniels, gone. Jim Ross will take over, as far as I'm concerned, talent relations. Yep. Have him call a couple pay-per-view matches. Get rid of Taz is there for a paycheck.
Yeah.
He tries to be comic relief. He's there for a paycheck.
Can you blame him? Can you guys blame him? At his age, what he's gone through, can you blame him for just being there and going through the motions and getting the paycheck?
He told his son that, and he's even said it in interviews, when you can get out of here and go to WWE, you'll do well there. He'll do well. He told his son in an interview that he'll do well in WWE.
But I'm over the Jericho match. I'm done with it.
Grade it.
That's a D. That's a D. The only reason it's not an F. The only reason it's not an F is because it wasn't a flat-out fail. Oh, the F's coming, baby. The F is coming for fuckery in a minute. Get ready for that.
You have F's.
There's going to be an F.
Let's go.
I thought you had no F's to give.
Oh, I'm about to give a couple of them right here.
Hang on a second. Jericho is like Whitesnake. Half the songs are rewritten from earlier Whitesnake songs.
Nice, Mike D.
Jericho starting to resemble Sally Struthers. And Mike D says the Saturday night show should be an ROH only show. He's right about that. Yes.
Okay, Don.
Roderick Strong, Adam Cole. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I don't know if it's internet problems.
I can hear you. I hear you loud and clear.
I can hear you.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, we got you.
Are you there?
Don? Can you hear us? Let me sing to you. Don't come away with Peter. Don,
you're on camera.
Bottles, come on down. You're the next contestant on Name That Wrestler.
Don, can you hear us now?
I'm here, but you guys are...
Don?
We can hear you.
You guys are breaking up and switching back.
Great, buddy.
That's your internet, Don.
Okay. I just checked it. It shows all sun. And either way, on to the next thing, the Adam Cole, Roderick Strong segment in the hospital. I'm over it. I don't want to see it anymore. Moving on. I don't know what you guys think. The whole Roderick Strong thing is just, I'm not with it, man.
It's dragged out too long.
It is way too long. Way too long.
It's a flop. I'm not dealing with that nonsense.
Moxley and Ray Phoenix. Come on, Don. Grade me. Let's see what's up, buddy.
That's next.
Okay.
That's next. That's an F. That's an F all the way around. Everyone failed in this match.
100%. 100%. That match was terrible. Anything Mox does or touches nowadays, I just can't even watch. I'd rather go in and take a shit.
You guys go ahead. I'm going to disconnect and come back in. Something's wrong.
You can't watch his matches, Motor. It's ridiculous.
No, you can't watch them. You can't freaking watch them, dude. And remember the Shield? Remember when he's in the Shield? Yeah, there was a little promise there, as far as I'm concerned. I liked him when he was with the Shield. And then he turns into this John Moxley character and tries to be a hardcore guy, which is like, turning goat piss into gasoline. It just did not work for him. He is not the type of persona that could do, hey, fucking New Jack, hardcore. Sandman, hardcore. RVD, Sabu, they fit the mold. John Moxley doesn't fit the mold. He does not. No matter how hard he tries, and the guy's got skills. The guy has talent, but he can't get, no matter what he does, he can't get into that mode. And I try to be biased and watch, and I'm like, this is garbage.
The whole thing with John Moxley when he was in the Shield as what was it? Good Lord.
Dean Ambrose.
How could I forget that? Dean Ambrose. He was held away from his excesses, the things that he likes to do in a wrestling ring, by Vince McMahon and Paul Levesque. They said, you're not going to do all that crazy shit. You're going to do it this way. You're doing it the WWE style, the WWE way. If you want to tweak it a little bit, run it by us, and we'll work with you. But you got to do it this way. You just can't take a razor blade and slice your head up. We got toy contracts. We're a PG product. We're not PG-13.
Skewers in your head.
Skewers in your head.
Did you see what they're saying now was where he actually got concussed? What they're trying to sell everybody.
Yes.
When he caught a dive from Ray Phoenix, he dove off the top turnbuckle on the Moxley onto the floor.
Yep.
And I think his right thigh clipped Moxley in the head, and his head bounced off the concrete floor.
So here's what I'm going to say about it, right? That could have caused it, and I'm not going to say that it did. It very well could have caused it. But when you drive his head into the ground twice in a row with the same move, and the referee is too incompetent to stop the match, what the hell are you doing, AEW? Someone, Johnny, you said it a couple times on Twitter, someone's going to end up paralyzed or dead before this is all said and done, because they're letting these morons, these spot monkeys, do everything they've ever wanted to do in their life as a child. They're letting them live out their damn dream right now. Somebody's got to be the grown-up in the room, because you just got rid of the one grown-up. CM Punk was telling them, you can't use real glass, you moron. You might cut your damn self wide open. Now I've got to sit here, and when I saw John Moxley live, I legitimately thought that dude might be paralyzed, because when the ref doesn't count three, I've heard it from some friends from Gil all the time. The WWE trains their guys. If his shoulders don't get up, you count the 3 count no matter what. You treat it like a shoot. You don't treat it like a work. And last night, it was a work. Everybody got worked. It was pathetic. It brought the whole vibe down on the show. I wasn't sure it could recover. It's enough.
It wasn't a work. It was a shoot. Because he lost that title. He wasn't supposed to lose the title. Moxley was supposed to win that match. But he was so concussed that he couldn't kick out. So he told Ray Phoenix, guys, do it again. He didn't know where he was.
No.
And Rick Knox, the referee, who is a personal friend of the Young Bucks, he referees all their matches. They got him a job there from Ring of Honor. Rick Knox should be fired because he endangered that man's life. And
it's not the first time. It's not the first time that piece of shit's done it.
Right.
Exactly.
How long ago was that? 2 weeks ago?
No, I'm thinking about the one where when they first started, when the dude took a damn double team in the middle of the ring, and he was knocked unconscious.
He's talking about Alex Reynolds, the guy with the long brown hair and the beard from the Dark Order. He is actually a tall guy, looks like a wrestler. He actually could be, if you gave him some time. He does good promos. If you gave the guy a little bit of a push, you could have something there. But he's just languishing with the Dark Order. Go ahead, Don.
But there was a double team move, knocked the guy out. Cold turkey, stiff as a board. Middle of the ring.
Done.
Instead of stopping the match for an injured wrestler, he lets the opponents drag him to the corner to get a fake tag. It was the most asinine thing I'd ever seen as a wrestling fan. It was at that moment I was like, you know what? Guys like Jim Cornette were right. There's a whole bunch of backyard mud shit show fest guys coming in this company, and here's living proof of it.
Outlaw mud show bullshit is what it is.
Damn right. Larry, they drug his ass to the corner, held his lifeless hand up.
Exactly.
Damn right.
Just terrible.
They didn't even know if the man had a broken neck, a cracked skull, an aneurysm. They had no idea what his problem was. He could have had a ruptured trachea. Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows why the guy's not responding? But Moxley last night was concussed. He couldn't finish the match properly. They relied on Ray Fenix. Ray Fenix used to, back in 2020, on Vice TV, there was a series called Viceland on Vice TV. Vice TV is a channel that brings you Dark Side of the Ring. Yes. Quality programming for fans of old school wrestling. They had a series, a docu-series when they're called The Wrestlers.
Yes, I saw that. Because that's when I first saw Darby Allin.
Right. And when they started talking about Mexico, they highlighted the luchadors for an episode. And the luchadors in question were Ray Fenix and a guy named the Black Spider. And I believe the Black Spider is now Penta, El Miedo, La Zero, La LGBTQO,
Don't give a shito.
Don't give a shito, whatever his name is. I believe, because that's his brother. What they used to do in Tijuana, Mexico, you heard of squeegee kids who would come over in a red light and do your windshield and, win a tip. They would wrestle in a median strip and on street corners at red lights. Steel chairs, light tubes, spinning around on a lamppost, diving off of mailboxes onto each other. It was a shit show. That's
kind of like last night. Kind of like last night. This was so bad.
You got a man who's 5'9", trying to do a tombstone pile driver on a 6'4" guy.
The physics, man. The physics don't work.
And he didn't do it the right way. The tombstone pile driver, you drop a guy down on your knees. You land on your knees. This guy did a sit-out tombstone pile driver.
And you know what?
When you do that, the man's head is supposed to graze your thigh. But you keep your legs together. This guy's legs were spread out. You can't see it now, but Stevie Richards from ECW, who now does analysis of wrestling moves on his channel, Stevie Richards. Loves Stevie Richards. He breaks it all down. He's a physical therapist. He broke it down early this morning. He broke down that footage.
And it was great. It was great. And he chewed out the ref like he should have. And this isn't coming from a bunch of fans. Yes. This is coming from a wrestler who's worked a long time. It was terrible. It was tragic. He said he should have been fired. This whole thing should have stopped. Somebody at the ringside should have said something. The owner should have come down. Anything should have happened at that point other than driving the man's skull into the mat again. And let's not forget, the last time I saw a sit-out tombstone pile driver was from a guy named Owen Hart to a guy named Steve Austin and damn near paralyzed him with the same result. Damn near paralyzed him. So I'm done with all of this. Jon Moxley, I'm not a big fan of his. I hope the guy goes away for about 4 months after this. Just get the hell out of the ring because no one's helping your ass out. You're letting you do all the dumb shit you've ever wanted to do since you were in grade school. Go home, sit with your family, figure out that there's a whole lot more in life than just blading the shit out of yourself and getting a 5-star match from Dave Meltzer.
Well, let me say this. Motorhead, let me say this.
Go ahead.
Good. Make your.
Not to mention, Jon Moxley has put it out there in social media that he has arthritis like a 70-year-old man.
That's what his doctor said, right?
Yep, yes. That's what his doctor said. 70-year-old man. And he's still going to go through it and do all this stuff for, fucking 10 cents on the dollar as far as I'm concerned, because 20 years from now, no one's going to fucking remember him. No
Renee Young.
He did. No one will.
Renee Young will be pushing him around in a wheelchair 10 years from now. Moxley did say that he's glad he doesn't wrestle in the morning because he wouldn't be able to do it. When he wrestles at night, he's all limbered up by then. All the joints are in motion, lubricated a little bit. Probably, he's taking about 5 or 6 Percocets, and he can get into the ring and do what he does. Look, this is what he's been radio silent all day.
All day. Not a word.
No one said anything about what kind of condition this guy's in, if he's got a concussion, if the neck's jammed, does he have feeling in his fingers, feeling in his feet?
Nothing.
Which leads me to believe there's a problem. because it's all sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns and cotton candy in AEW land. Tony Khan would like to make you think. Okay? He would like to make you think that. He would like to make you think that when Saraya comes to the ring, a unicorn will poke out of her asshole and wink at the camera and say, "Hey, everything's great here."
Hold on. She's next. I don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Let's catch up with these. Let's catch up with some of these comments.
Go, Don. That's BS.
Ron said, High Desert Ron said, that's BS. Just like Don said, you can see it went wrong. And Scud said, it looks like the dumb son of a bitch said, do it again. And Scuddy did say, do it again. Exactly. They drug his ass in the corner. We already covered that from Larry. Gil said, correct Bottles. He's seriously endangered his life. Knox needs to be fired. You're exactly right, Gil, but I don't see that happening at all because it's a shit show. Larry said the only reason he's got a job is because he's buddy with the Cucamonga kids. You're exactly right.
Exactly right.
Stevie works with the guys in a local promotion down here in New Orleans. I did not know that. Larry, does he live near you? I mean, does he live in Louisiana? I'd like to find that out.
Go drop dog shit on his yard, Larry. Come on, do it.
The great Mike Digital says, Phoenix 316 says, I broke your neck. Oh, and this, Don. The owner couldn't come down here to practice his dance moves with Daniel Garcia. What a shit show.
So here's my thing, and I wanted to cover this at the very end of this, because instead of checking on him at the hospital, instead of going down to look at him, instead of checking on his guy, he decided to come out with the clown show and do a dance at the end of the night. The billionaire's out there dancing like a moron while one of his stars is laid up in a hospital getting checked out.
Yeah.
The last time this happened like that in a major pay-per-view type show was The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Vince McMahon left the show to go sit by Undertaker's side that night and to make sure he's okay.
Well, so you said one thing wrong.
That's the difference in the two.
You said one thing wrong.
What's that?
Good point, Don.
He did not go to the hospital. He was in his trailer outside. He's got his own trailer outside the arena that he walks to. I mean, he walks out of and goes inside when he does his entrance. He's got his own dressing room and a trailer outside.
You're talking about Tony Khan.
I'm talking about John Moxley.
Oh,
He goes there with pictures on Twitter of Khan, Claudio, Renee Paquette, who's worried about him, and some other guy, unnamed guy. I guess he's some production guy. I don't know. Standing outside the trailer. Somebody looked over off of the balcony and took a picture of them having a heated conversation. And Wheeler Useless was there too.
So here's my thing.
Go ahead.
If he doesn't make him go to the hospital, he's a useless human being to me.
Yes.
He's dead to me. There's no way you don't tell Moxley you're going to the hospital after everything that just went down. You're going boss, whether you like it or not, and I'm going with you. And if they even had to have a discussion, if there was even a discussion, I don't want to hear it. I'm done with this. I'm done with the whole angle. I'm done with the whole damn show at that point. But I kept watching. But I was pretty much dead in the water after that.
Car wreck, oh, geez, I don't want to see car. Exactly.
Because
you know one thing, though? Just let me make one last point about the whole thing. If they would have stopped the match and had everybody come out and had paramedics come out with a stretcher and carry his ass out of the ring, if they would have stopped the show for 10, 15 minutes.
Would have carried on the next week or the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
It would have been a ratings grabber. Everybody would have said, holy shit, what's going on in AEW right now? And they would have clicked over from whatever they were watching.
Exactly.
But they didn't do that. They did not do that.
No, instead we're going to carry this thing out.
Shit 10 ways of Sunday, and they didn't do it. They had the opportunity. They could have done that. We've seen it several times in the past. WCW, WWE, WCCW, AWA. Anytime there's an injury that comes up, they would play the shit out of it, whether it was real or not. And you're like, oh, crap. As a fan, you're watching going, dude, I got to tune in again. I got to tune in. Dog,
next match.
Tony Khan's brain is dog shit. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Next was the next is why so many of us can't stand the women's wrestling in this company. This very next thing. You had Toni Storm, who's got a great character right now.
Great gimmick.
Toni Storm's got a great gimmick. I love everything she's doing right now.
Good gimmick.
And then you have Saraya. This thing this thing was the drizzling shits from the opening bell. It looked like two dogs dragging their ass on the carpet for 10 minutes. That's what this match looked like, was ass draggage central right here. I couldn't wait for this to finish. I don't even want to talk about it. If you guys want to indulge yourselves, go ahead. I'm not covering this happy horse shit.
You're got to open a beer for that one, pal.
Yeah, I got just some here. You're not lying about that match. That match was, as you said, the drizzling shits. I'd rather watch grass grow in South Dakota or somebody fucking hose off their neighbor. That was fucking terrible. Terrible. And Saraya, get out of the game, man. Get the fuck out, because she's nothing. She has done, kudos for her coming back from the neck injury. Great. But you know what? She does nothing for anybody. Nothing. Not a damn thing.
I'd rather watch a blind man give a bucking Brahma bull a reach around than watch another Saraya match. She's the worst, the dirt worst. She should have retired with that neck injury. You can't do anything with her in the ring. Her opponents have to camouflage. And it's all smoke and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors.
Whatever they do with her in the ring, because they don't want to hurt her. When I saw her with her head on her slate, with her neck on the bottom turnbuckle, and Tony Storm was going to go in for that ass Rikishi style ass bump, I said, "This could be it."
That's what I was hoping. I was like, we've already got one real injury that no one gives a shit about. Let's go for two. Let's go for two.
Did you see it? Did it happen?
No.
She ducked out of the way.
Mike Digital up here putting dog emojis, just so you don't repeat it. I didn't want you to do that. Dog emojis for the dragon ass. Appreciate that, Mike. So, can we move on? Can we please move on?
No. Mike just said he's seen a few of Saraya's films.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It was a South border.
Called Behind the Green Door, I think it was.
I think it was called Splooge on the Belt. I'm not sure.
I hope that Tony Storm. I hope that you don't. She doesn't take a hiatus for like a month from the TV show. Split her off from Saraya. Have her wrestle other people. It's a great goddamn gimmick. The washed up Hollywood faded starlet is what she's doing in those promos, and it's gold, man. It is just comedy gold. And RJ City, the guy interviewed her in that first clip that they did on Collision. I shared it with you, Don. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
RJ City said on Twitter,
it was great.
Today,
it was
he
great.
Said they're going to do. They've already done another one.
Good. So, I can't wait. I think it's great.
Can't wait to see it.
We had the final match of the night, and
you didn't grade that last match.
I did. It's an F. It's an F minus.
Thank you.
Piece of shit, nonsense, garbage, wasting my time.
F. Fail. Yes.
We had the AEW championship match with MJF and Samoa Joe, and we had another callback to the WWE. If you don't remember, I will remind you. MJF had a moment with the kid in the tunnel. WWE stole it from Mean Joe Green in the 70s with the Coca-Cola bottle. WWE did it a decade and a half later with Bret Hart and the glasses that he gave to a kid, and they did it with the damn
Burberry scarf.
The Burberry scarf. They did it with that kid, only they had a little bit of an MJF angle to it where he said, "You're adopted." And he whispered in his ear. This is what I mean, by the way. This is what you do. You've never done this before. Hey, Chris Jericho, don't do your own shit. Do someone else's shit from your previous era. This is what he did. It worked to perfection. They got in the ring. They had a man's fight. It was brutal. There was the moment outside of the ring where MJF got driven onto the damn side of the apron. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah. Wow. I thought he was hurt. Dude, I thought he was actually hurt.
Fucking hurt him. Yeah, I thought it fucking hurt him, man. Seriously.
It got my attention. It got my attention. I said, oh no. Great match.
Those two guys can go when they need to, and God bless them, because MJF, as far as I'm concerned, he's a cornerstone of AEW. So is Samoa Joe. Without those two, now that CM Punk's gone, what do you got? The Elite? Fucking Bung Man, Madam Sage, Butterfly Boy? No, that's what you got. And so push them. Go with the talent. Make
Bung
the angle.
Man,
do
Adam
something.
Sage.
Yes. It looked great. The whole thing looked great, man. I was so impressed with everything in this match. between him choking him out like he said he would.
Yes.
However, it would not be AEW if some happy horse shit didn't happen. And Adam
Right.
Cole came flying out,
Here he comes.
jumped off the side of the stage,
And
and
hurt his
then
ankle.
hurt himself. And
Yeah.
today he was seen on crutches in an air cast. So
he's legitimately
good
hurt.
God.
He really did hurt
Yeah.
himself doing that
Yes.
shit. He fucking
Yes.
pulled a full-on stunt and fucking hurt himself for doing that shit.
He's got the physique and the menstrual cramps of a 14-year-old girl.
Oh.
he is the
I
most
love it.
injury-prone guy I have ever seen.
Look at him.
Ever.
Look at him.
Hey, can you guys tell me something? Answer this question, brothers. How many times you see Harley Race get injured?
I saw him
Race?
get hurt once
Go
bad.
ahead.
Once bad against Hulk Hogan. Bad injury.
And how old was he?
He was in his 40s, I want to say.
Yeah.
Maybe his late 30s. I can't
Oh,
remember.
Okay.
Larry called Adam Cole Mr. Glass.
Mr.
Good.
Glass.
That's right.
Good one. I can
Nice,
get behind
Larry.
that. But no,
Well, Adam-
he's
He's got
He's
more time to
injury-prone,
play
man.
video games. He's got more time to play video games now. That's what
Yeah.
he likes to do.
he can do
And
whatever he wants. I
If
don't
you've seen
care.
his channel on YouTube, it's Chugs. That's his nickname, Chugs. And that's his channel. He just sits there and plays video games on Twitch and on YouTube.
Donald,
It's
I thought you
ridiculous.
said Jugs at first.
No,
but
not Jugs. Chugs.
Chugs. Okay, gotcha.
Chugs.
Chugs.
Yeah. He-
I'm chugging this drink right now.
He's
Good
built
God.
like a 14-year-old girl.
So
Ridiculous.
I thought it was a good match. I'll give it an A. I can't quite
that's
give
your
it that
grade?
A plus. I'd give it an A. I can't quite give it an A
Right.
plus. The A plus
right.
matches to me are like, Flair versus Steamboat. It's Taker versus Michaels. Those are the A pluses in my book. This was up there. It's a solid A. Great match, start to finish. Enjoyed it. The Adam Cole friendship thing, I'm not really big into that, but whatever. It is what it is. That's all I got on that one.
Well, that
Okay.
show was a success. It was a
I-
success for AEW. 984,000.
Was it?
I'm looking at it right now.
Guys,
984,000 people watched that show.
I would
how many
love
people
to.
are going to come to Arthur Ashe Stadium? How many people are going to come to Arthur Ashe Stadium?
Well, supposedly they did a huge walk-up business the day of the show because it was buy one, get one. And people
I heard
said, hey,
two tickets for $14 from some people on Twitter. It was 2 tickets for $14 to pack that place because they're having trouble.
they're having major, major trouble.
Major.
And they won't admit it. They can't. I don't know why he will not turn that ship around. All he's got to
Right.
do. He doesn't want to be a bad guy. Tony Khan doesn't. He abhors confrontation. Does not want to confront people. Does not want to. You saw when he came out that one night on Collision, a live
Yes.
episode of Collision, and told the Chicago crowd that
Oh.
CM Punk wasn't going to be there, and he sit down in the chair
I
before the
fear
show
for
started
life.
to talk to them. And the video on Twitter, people were chanting, "You're a pussy! You're a pussy!
You're a pussy.
You're a pussy!"
You're a pussy. Exactly.
Right. He hates, and he went back. He went back after he said what he said. He went in the back and cried at
Yeah.
the gorilla position.
Dude,
Allegedly.
you guys, Vince McMahon, do you think he ever did that? No. How about
He
Vern
would have.
Gagne?
He
No.
would have laughed
How
about it.
Ole Anderson? Fuck no.
Not at all. Not at all.
Thank you.
I just can't understand it. I just don't understand it. Gil says Cole's on puberty blockers. Could very well be.
And I believe it. I believe it.
Allegedly.
Nice
Allegedly.
Bill.
Don, what else you got?
Don?
That's
I
the
know-
show. That's the show. That was the last thing. That's it.
Let's
I'm
move on to the
looking
next
now.
topic. Let's talk.
Go.
Let's talk. What's on
Bottles?
everyone's lips? The word on everyone's lips is what?
The WWE firings and layoffs and the big fire sale going on at the company. Yes? Let's hit it, boys. What the is going
Easy.
on right
Easy.
now? Yes, sir.
Almost 20 years in WWE. Almost 20 years. Dolph Ziggler, Nick
Gone.
Nemeth.
43 years old,
gone.
and they released him. Released him. A guy
Can
that was
anybody say they're surprised though over that? I mean, I'm not. He hasn't
What's
been
this-
on TV in forever.
And these are all people. The people that got released today are all people outside of someone else we'll mention, a female, who has been on TV recently. They haven't been on TV in months. One in a year. She hasn't been on TV in a year. And you probably don't even remember her name, but she won a tag team championship match and vomited on herself in the ring.
Oh my
live
God.
TV.
That's awesome. I didn't see that nonsense.
Yes, she caught it.
Oh,
Caught her
dude.
vomit in her hand.
Bruh.
Question number one. Why are they doing this? Are they making room for a couple people to come in? Anybody? Bueller?
Well, they got one coming in already, I know.
Jay Cargill is she's already in a performance center working out. They want to see what she can do. And the creative team for the main roster said, we need to think of ideas for Jade Cargill. Stat. Right away.
I read that. I can't remember where I read that at, but I did read that on somebody's website. Was. You never know with the wrestling media, man. They're so full of shit half the time. You got to take it with a grain of salt more than you do anything else. But I will say, I hope they get her developed right, because if there's one thing I want to see her and Cody Rhodes' wife go at it. I want to see that happen.
Why?
Who told you it was open night, bitch?
I got to bow down to you because you're the one that said they're going to send her to the NXT first, a training center, get her rolled up, and then put it in the main event status. So
that is still the greatest, worst promo I've ever seen in my life.
All I can say is she's great when she walks to the ring, when she does a promo.
She's a big girl,
but
man.
As soon as the bell rings, everything falls to shit. She could do her finisher, but that's it. If you notice her matches,
the right word, guys. Sloppy, half-assed is the way I see it when she's in the ring. When she does her moves, it's very half-assed. I don't know how.
It doesn't look like she's been trained. That's all it looks like to me.
Right.
Like she's had very minimal training.
She has had very minimal training. You know how she got her start there? She's friends with Shaquille O'Neal. And when he came in and done that, he came in for that angle. Supposedly had a confrontation with Paul White, the former Big Show. A girl who came to the ring with him, that girl was Jade Cargill. And everybody said, who's that? Who's that? Who? Jade Cargill came to the ring. And I think she should go to NXT for like one or two.
Too. I think you got to start her off there. And here's the thing, right? You've got a perfect time right now with what you're doing with the NXT Women's Championship. You've got somebody that can, hey, if she can go, Becky Lynch will be able to put it on her. I mean, she'll be able to tell you right away if the girl can work out in this company or not.
She could be the one to take the NXT Women's belt away from Becky Lynch.
Yes. What I'm saying.
Just come right in. Becky doesn't expect it. And she can put on a serviceable match with Jade Cargill, bring her up to the main roster, and have her defend the NXT belt on both shows. Raw, NXT, or SmackDown, NXT.
Yep. It would create a storyline for weeks to come after that. Take the belt. Go ahead.
The WWE release that got my attention today was Shelton Benjamin. They didn't use the guy from the moment he got in. They didn't do it right. I don't know what the hell they don't see in him that I do. I think Shelton Benjamin's a hell of a worker. He does not have the mouthpiece. Like, he's not the mouthpiece that you need. Why are they so against keeping MVP in the company and letting that guy build a faction with him, man? The dude can talk a great game. His brain days are behind him. Yes. I get that. But he can still take a bump. He can get over the guys. Yes. He can start his own faction. I don't understand the mindset.
It's been done.
He was
the hurt business. The hurt business.
5 months? 4 months? It was 4 or 5 months and he was gone. It wasn't even that long. Like, that had shelf life. That could have kept going, and it just died. It just died.
The problem.
How long has MVP been with the company? How long has he
second go round? The second go round. 3 years?
At least.
The second go round, 3 years.
How long was he there? The guy has history in the company. Give him something, because he's got it. He can do it. He's got the shit. He can go for it. So it's like, dude, keep him, because I don't know about you guys. I've always been a fan of MVP because heel or not, he's good.
So Mike Digital just commented about somebody on Twitter saying Vince McMahon had somebody fall from the roof and die at a pay-per-view, and they continued the show.
That was Rey Mysterio during the COVID era.
Rey Mysterio.
No, died. He's talking about Owen Hart. Okay?
No. Rey Mysterio got thrown off a roof, allegedly, on the top of Titan's Towers. It was doing I
honestly think he's talking about Owen Hart, though. That's what I think he's talking about. Because they continued the pay-per-view. So here's my point, right? This is what the neckbeards continue to do. Guys, the world's a different place than it was 30 years ago. Everything's changed. Everything has changed. Wrestling used to be small-time circus acts. It is now a global corporation business. Shit has changed. It's not the same thing, right? You used to have bra and panties matches 20 years ago. You're not going to see that today. Life moves on. The angles in the 80s and 90s aren't going to fit today's lifestyle. It's not going to fit today's culture. The culture of we got to put the show on no matter what. Hey, look, I thought it was a bad idea when they did it. And he was saying, yeah, they're talking about Owen. So it was a bad idea when they did it. They shouldn't have continued the show. But if you're in that, they didn't know he was dead at the time. I mean, they found out later on in the show, and there's no excuse for it. They should have stopped the show immediately. I agree. What are you going to do, man? They made a bad decision, right? They made a bad decision. They just did. And it's a different time. We're not talking. If that happened today, do you think Vince McMahon keeps going with the show?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
I think he stops the show immediately.
No.
I think he stops it immediately.
No.
If somebody fell to their death, you don't think they stop the show?
No.
That's a tough one, Don.
There's no way you keep going on with the show if someone falls to their death. There's no way. Like, legitimately, for real, Owen Hart falls to their death.
Right.
You think he keeps going?
Keeps going.
Not a chance of that.
Keeps trucking. Keeps on
trucking.
Not a chance. Now,
He's
maybe...
guy, and he don't give a rat's ass. He does
Not a
to
chance.
a point about his performers.
Not a chance. Not a chance. There's no way.
In my opinion.
With being owned by TKO Sports, do you think that if a UFC match, if a fighter died in the ring, you think that, or when they dragged him out of the ring, they report that he died on the way to the hospital, do you think they would stop the show?
Nope.
No, because he's not the way. I'm not saying that, but that's again. This is what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. He fell to his death. Like they knew he was in serious life-threatening issue right there. Right. I'm talking about he falls and he dies right there. He's dead in the ring. You know,
a UFC fighter gets hit and he falls down and he breaks his neck and dies, or he has a seizure. He has a seizure and dies. How's that a big difference?
There's because one's a shoot, and one's a work. One is they're actually fighting. The huge
I understand
difference.
that. Would you stop the UFC match? Would you stop?
No,
the UFC
you're not going to
show?
fight because it's a shoot. It's not a work. And again, we're not talking. We're talking about a corporate organization now. We're not talking about Vince McMahon just owning it. This is huge now. This is no longer a private company. This is a corporate company. This is a corporation. This will hurt your stock dollar. If he doesn't stop it, I can guarantee you there's going to be board members that say, no, nay, say aye. We have outvoted you. We're stopping the show now. That's how that would work.
And
when the show's going on,
John, you think that the shareholders and the other people involved could be like, dude, stop this shit. Sorry.
Yeah, it's over. Yep. It's not privately owned anymore. He doesn't get final say. Johnny, you were talking about it earlier. They're trying to push the old man out right now as we speak. So this is my thing. If that's still his mindset, his ass is on the way out. If the show must go on at all costs, that's not going to work today, man. That's not going to work today's environment. It's not going to work in corporate. You're a publicly traded
Hang on a second. Right now, at 49% ownership, which is what Vince has, 49% ownership, he's got no say in anything. Endeavor owns 51% of WWE. So Vince has no say in anything. But what you're assuming is, that if someone died on live TV or at a live pay-per-view.
Joseph put a nice point there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Are they going to call every shareholder and say, hey, guys, what do you think? Do you think we should stop the show right now? How many shareholders are there? There's a shitload of them. They're not on a hotline. They don't have like a bat phone where they pick up a red phone and hit a button and say, "Hey, stop the fucking show." It's not like that.
Johnny. Last year,
that show would roll on.
Hold on. No. Last year, the Bengals and the Bills had $1 billion football game on that they canceled midway through because one player stopped breathing. Stopped breathing on the field. Whole goddamn game canceled. There was no remake. There was nothing else because that is a huge corporation. This isn't a privately funded company anymore. If it's bad for the optics, it's going to stop on a dime. If Owen Hart falls today, the show would not go on. I would bet my life savings on it.
Okay.
They cut off the NFL, which is worth billions, not a couple of billion, billions per year they get. Billions per year. They get 10 times what the WWE is getting from USA next year. 10 times. If they're not going to put it on, I know damn well that company's not going to keep going. Never going to happen.
You just made my point by saying that they get 10 times more than what WWE gets, the NFL does. It's a huge corporation, the NFL is. Huge. A juggernaut. The WWE is nowhere near that. The WWE would just make it's like three guys who sitting in a gorilla position who used to be wrestlers saying, "Well, what do you think? Well, when so-and-so broke his leg, so-and-so got knocked out, so-and-so did this. Oh, we kept on going. Well, let's keep on going then." And that's what they would do. They would keep on going.
What did Jim Ross
still
say?
Run. You can say what you want.
They're still going
to run that show. They're still going to run that show.
Okay. No way.
Using Vince McMahon's principles involved.
I hope we never have to find out, but Jim Ross in his own book said we should have not done the show that night, and if we had to do it again, I don't think we would.
I agree, Don. I hope not on that shit.
You can't. I hope it never happens again, but there's no way you're going to convince me otherwise. On to the releases.
But I will say Shelton Benjamin was a bad promo. That's why
he was a terrible promo.
Everybody in the Hurt business couldn't talk.
Terrible.
Lashley, terrible promo.
Terrible.
Cedric Alexander, they gave him a chance to talk. He couldn't speak. And Shelton Benjamin, who was a grade A hoss. He was one of the greatest. Well, he still is one of the great. At 45 years old,
he can
one
go.
Of the greatest workers of all time, and still go. And he's the guy who originated that move that LA Knight tried to do about a month ago and botched it on SmackDown, where your guys on the top turnbuckle and you run up and you make a flying leap and both your feet on the top ropes and you suplex the son of a bitch all one fell swoop off that top turnbuckle. Shelton Benjamin is a hoss. Shelton Benjamin, if they don't offer that guy a trainer's position or an agent's position if he wants it, which is a pay cut, of course, I hope he goes to AEW. I hope he goes to AEW and makes money.
I knew you were going to say that. God knows.
He's got a lot to offer.
Here is my fear for anybody who was who's going to go to AEW. Please, God, stay away from all the flippy circus guys that can put you in a bad position and get you hurt. Don't end up like Moxley last night with a guy who wants to flip every chance he gets to land on your face or put your head through a mat.
All right, we're an hour into this shit. Let's go down the list. I'll throw the names out there to you. Aaliyah, who you haven't seen on TV.
Don't care. Gone. Next. Gone. Get rid of her.
She's the one who threw up in the ring.
Gone.
Yep.
Rick Boogs. Eric Bugenhagen.
Gone. Gone.
What about Elias?
Gone.
How about Ezekiel, his brother?
So here's my thing, right? Elias would do. Look, Elias, I think is a good guy to go to AEW. He was never going to work out in WWE after they buried his ass with the walk with Elias gimmick I was with. That shit was over with me. I thought it was tremendous. I thought it was great. Why the hell they tried to get rid of him? Someone's got to explain to me why Vince McMahon has such a hard-on for anybody with facial hair when he grows that pencil-lit mustache looking like a bad 60s porno star 30 years later.
John Waters game show mustache. Hey, guys.
Dude, how are you going to tell Elias you could grow a man's beard not to grow that when you grow peach fuzz that a 12-year-old would be embarrassed to have on his lip?
I'm sorry. Jerry Blackwell, look at his fucking face. Big fat guy. Without the beard, he would have been dog shit. Look at his face. Had that big ass beard. Perfect. Came to the ring. Fat. Drop kick. Go.
Vince McMahon with that dye job and that mustache looks like he's ready to say, Motorhead table for two at one of your finer Mexican restaurants.
Walk with Elias. That's right, Chris.
Walk with Elias. That's right, Chris.
Let me say this. The reason why the Ezekiel character came in the bean, you want to hear the story behind that?
Hit it.
I've heard some.
Ezekiel was his brother. He had on regular trunks and wrestling boots and knee pads and elbow pads, and he was clean shaven because Vince said, "God damn it, pal, we got to change Elias's gimmick. We got to put him in regular clothes. Put him in regular gear, pal. See what he looks like." And when he walked out, paraded himself through gorilla position to do like a house show past Vince McMahon. Vince said he looks like Randy Savage. God damn it, pal. Tell him to shave that beard off.
See, again.
Because he does not like Randy Savage.
What is his deal, man, with anybody with facial hair?
Because Randy Savage stooped his daughter. Randy Savage allegedly stooped his underage daughter.
Oh. Allegedly for real.
Vince McMahon just for men. Dick dastardly.
I'm done with this.
All right, guys.
Okay, the next name, Riddick Moss.
Nah.
Riddick Moss. Gone. Good. He hasn't been on TV in months.
I don't even know who the fuck that is. So
well, his girlfriend is Emma. You know who Emma is?
Yes, I do.
Nope.
Emma
She's gone too.
That's his fiancée. She's gone too. Shelton Benjamin, we covered. Top Dollar is now Dollar General.
Flop Dollar.
He's now Family Dollar.
$5 fucking
but they have not announced. They have not announced the rest of Hit Row being released, which was B-Fab, and he looks like Wayne Newton in person.
He's Evil Ted Turner.
See Vince in Vegas. He's playing this week at Caesar's Palace, singing. He's singing "Dark Shame" by Wayne Newton at Caesar's Palace.
Hey pal, you've got to hit the bricks. I've got another wrestler. I'm just.
Hit Row. Top Dollar's out of Hit Row. He's gone. The other two members of Hit Row, Ashante Diadonis,
She's still there.
No, that's a guy. He's probably 5 feet tall.
I don't even know who the guy is, dude. I've never seen him.
He's the guy. He's the guy in Hit Row who could actually wrestle a match.
Dude.
He could actually wrestle a match.
Do you know what happens?
With the blonde dreadlocks, who's good-looking chick who cannot wrestle a lick.
Do you know what happens when that group comes on my TV?
You change the channel.
Go on, in a midst. I break batteries in this house getting rid of that shit. Get rid of that shit!
Oh, there it is!
There it goes. All right, let's get... After more than 10 years with the company, Don, Dana Brooke, who was currently in NXT, some say the neckbeards, the WWE neckbeards, were saying she was doing the best work of her career. Well, she's still stumbling around the ring like a blindfolded newborn baby deer. She's horrendous. She was a fitness model who was jacked when she was at NXT. She had big arms and big thighs, and not that I was looking at all that, of course, but she looked like she could actually lift over her head a good-sized female and slam her to the ground because she was a strong woman. She lost all that.
There is a Canadian
she lost all that
is similar to Playboy, where she's in it. Okay, from a few years ago. You guys can find it. Yes, it is. It's on there. Okay. Bottles.
Who else got released?
After more than 10 years with the company, Dana Brooks has been released. She signed in 2013. See you later. Okay. The stable of Maximum Male Models, and I knew this was going to happen. They haven't been on TV in 7 months.
No, they have not. They've been gone a long time.
When the stable first happened, Max Dupree was a modeling agent for...
I don't care.
I'm just saying. You know who Max Dupree was.
Yeah, but they're gone. Just tell me they're gone. Tell me they're gone.
L.A. Knight. That was a gimmick that Vince gave L.A. Knight.
He got buried in that shit show. I remember him getting
buried. The other two that got buried was Mansoor and Mace. And they've been let go. When Maxine Dupree, who was supposedly L.A. Knight's sister, who took over that stable, was paired with Alpha Academy, I said, these poor bastards, they're done. And you never saw them on TV. And without Swerve,
Nice
hit road was like
one.
cornflakes without
He's
the milk.
exactly right. He's exactly right. Because Swerve is one of the things I do enjoy watching on AEW. He's one of the few things.
Yes. Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali's out the door.
Yep, that's fine.
That
Don't
was
care.
coming anyways because he's just like
He's wanted out for years, like you said earlier.
Yep, exactly.
He couldn't hack it. He couldn't hack it.
No,
done. He wanted out and they let him out. Daba Kato was a 7-foot tall guy. He was paired with the next guy who's probably going to be released. Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews, when he was doing the Nigerian Prince gimmick, he had that bodyguard with him on SmackDown. The guy was 7 feet tall. He was Colonel somebody.
Yep.
That guy's name was Daba Kato. They put him back down to NXT. He still has 2 left feet. Can't get out of his own way. They cut him loose. Shanky. He had the dancing gimmick. Tall Indian guy. Another guy's almost 7 feet tall. They released him. You haven't seen Shanky on TV for... What, Don? 9 months, 10 months?
I thought Scooby-Doo had been out there for a while.
Not Shaggy. Oh, I'm sorry. The Indian translation of Shaggy is Shanky.
That's what that is.
Shanky.
Would you like a doobie?
God damn it, Don.
Get that dog. Someone get that dog a Scooby snack.
Shaggy.
So all these guys in NXT that they release, I could care less. I don't know them for the most part.
Well,
it's kind of like this. Bottles, I'll put it to you this way, okay? I'm going to put it to you this way, okay? For a wrestling fan who is no longer watching the product every day, living, eating, breathing it, right? The NXT is like AA baseball, right? If my Atlanta Braves AA baseball team cuts 3 guys off the AA team, guess what I know? Not a goddamn thing, nor do I care. Because you never made it to the big show. And if you don't make it to the big show, I don't care. It's not my bag, baby. I see where they cut all these guys, Quincy Miller, Dana Brooke, Bryson Montana. I don't even know these guys, man. I don't even know these guys.
Some of them never made it to TV. Yulisa Leon is she had a gimmick of, she was paired with another South American girl, and they came out, and they almost did what was, you could say, was belly dancing in the ring. Two women who Jay Cargo blindfolded newborn baby deers. They were terrible.
Terrible.
And
so that's all.
Here we go. This is a great comment right here. Like Harold Melvin without the blue notes. You'll never go play.
Oh, shit, Dewan. Nice, buddy. Exactly.
So that covers the firings. The big thing is, you read something today that sort of got my attention, Bottles. They're going after McMahon now? Like TKO wants him out?
McMahon's house was raided back in June.
I knew he got raided. Yeah, I know about the raid.
By the federal government.
Yeah, because they're looking for that dirty money from paying the hookers. I mean, the interns. I mean, the legal fees.
They still think. He said he reimbursed the company.
That's right.
He reimbursed the company with his own money. And what they think now is that he misappropriated funds from a publicly traded company. He moved money around and cooked the books to pay these broads off, because there are more women that have not come forward. They haven't come forward.
Yes,
it's not been revealed. They haven't come forward. There's more women. And there are some from...
Has Vinnie Mac's been in control for how long, Bottles? Yes, exactly.
40 years?
Thank you. And the ones that have come forward have said their fucking piece. They have their NDAs. And now there's more going to be like, oh, shit, maybe we should come forward too, because they're going after the guy. They're going after his ass. And now Vince McMahon is a bad – it's like when I went to college in the 90s and heavy metal was a bad word and everybody was listening to grunge and alternative. It's just like, oh, shit, dude. Vince McMahon, he has – done
baggage, man. He's got baggage.
Thank you, John.
Like a man on Seinfeld once said.
Thank you.
Yeah, very bad man. Very bad man. Very, very bad man.
Was that Shaggy?
Fucking soup for you.
That was Babu, who owned the Indian restaurant.
I think that was Shaggy.
Very bad man. Very
that
bad.
Was Shaggy. You're mixing up your Seinfeld characters now with Hanna-Barbera. That was Shaggy.
All right, guys, bring us home.
Well, we're not bringing it home yet. We got another story. This is a long podcast, pal. If the wife's got meatloaf on the oven for you, you're gonna.
Nah.
She may have to wait a minute. I'm going to share this screen right now. I just pull. You naked from the waist down again? Jesus Christ!
Dude, this is getting to be a habit.
Baby.
What the whole thing is right now is
no wonder
with Vince McMahon being federally investigated. I'm trying to ignore you two. With Vince McMahon being federally investigated, TKO Sports, which is what the parent company now is, it's not Endeavor, it's not Titan Sports, it's TKO Sports. The head guys who own 51% of that company, more than what Vince does, said this guy is a boil on our ass right now.
So where did you read this? Because I want to make sure that we're getting this out there.
Buddy, I'm going to pull this up for you right now.
You're pulling something.
I'm pulling my pudding right now. Hang on.
Hold on. He's got a mask.
He's pulling it.
There we go. This is from Axios. This is from Axios.com. A story that broke today. And I'm going to read it for you right now, Don and Motor. You give me your take on it. I'll read a couple lines and you tell me what you think.
Let's go.
Excuse me. Pro wrestling magnate Vince McMahon is hinting that he wants out of the family business. Wink, wink. According to regulatory filings tied to WWE's recent merger with the UFC. Driving the news, the new combined entity, like we just spoke about, TKO, has registered all of McMahon's shares for sale, thus enabling him...
Whoa. Okay, here's my issue with this. How would they know this if it's not out on the market already? Like,
You're
that's
exactly
my
right.
How would they know this if it wasn't out there?
Good point.
Because they monitor this kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if that many shares went for sale, you would think that the bottom would drop out of the damn company.
Well, they dropped 10%. Right. Early this morning.
I know they dropped 10%.
When this was released, it could be lower. It could be lower right now.
Hold on.
But 10 o'clock this morning.
It dropped after the news of the new USA deal was announced. That's when it dropped. That was a live blow-by-blow. So we didn't cover that. So WWE is bringing SmackDown to USA, and apparently they're going to extend it to 3 hours, which, dear God, if there's one thing we don't need is a third hour SmackDown, just like we don't need a third hour of Raw.
No,
but that's when the actual price of the stock dropped. Line by line, because I was watching it this morning. I was like, oh, shit, it dropped. Let me see why.
You don't have to do fucking 3 hours. You do a couple hours, hour and a half. Hey, back in our day, it was a fucking hour or an hour and a half of solid wrestling. 3 hours is too much.
CEO Nick Khan said last year in an interview that if they wanted 3 hours, if USA wanted 3 hours for NXT, we give them 3 hours. If the money's right, the money was right. $1.4 billion over 5 years.
Over 5 years
for one TV show. 3 hours SmackDown. Coming off of Fox. They do almost 3 million on certain episodes of SmackDown on Fox. They want that. They want that kind of candy for USA.
Did you see that they're going to have? Excuse me. They're going to have four specials or prime time shows on NBC during the year as well. Yes. So here's my question on this, because I never got an answer today, and I kept looking. Are those 4 quote unquote specials going to be PLEs that they're bringing to network TV?
I don't think they are.
I don't think so. I think it'll be specialty shows, tribute for the troops.
I don't think they are, Don. I think you're right. I don't think they are.
I think they're actually going to bring PLEs to NBC.
The lower ones like Fastlane?
Yeah, right. I really think that's what you're about to see. I think you're going to get one major. I think you're going to see something like Survivor Series come to it. Okay. I think you're going to see something like King of the Ring come back. It'll be 2 PLEs that month, but you'll see that. And you'll see like the month before you see like WrestleMania, that'll be on NBC to draw interest to get their eyes on Peacock.
Okay. All right.
All right, let's go back into it now. The new combined entity, TKO, has registered all of McMahon's shares for sale, thus enabling him to avoid the lockup period that applies to other TKO stockholders like Endeavor and Silver Lake. McMahon currently holds 28.84 million TKO shares, which was valued at $3 billion as of yesterday's market close.
See,
now, behind the scenes, go ahead.
It smells like bullshit to me. It's the bullshit detector's going on. If you're going to tell me that 3 billion shares of WWE stock went up for sale today from the McMahon family, and this is the only site that's got it, I'm calling bullshit.
Look at this shit right here. Look at this shit right here, guys. He's merging with a UFC company. Okay,
that's already done. Yeah,
that's done.
What is going to fucking stop him from later on taking wrestling and trying to conform it to what UFC is now? You can't do it because you got shoot, you got work. Exactly. So I
think you're going to see a blend. I think you're going to see some UFC guys that get out of the business come over to wrestling. I think you are going to see that.
My biggest concern is how they're going to mold that together, because you got
the same way Brock did. Same way Brock did.
Yep, fucking same way Brock did. You got. So to me, honestly, if they fucking do that, if they pull that route and go that way, I'm all for it. If they go more shoot for wrestling, fuck yeah, because that's the shit we grew up with, guys.
Well,
that's the shit we grew up with.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And number one, Vince can't do anything.
You're right.
Vince can't do anything. Vince cannot do anything.
Yes.
He's got to answer. Vince actually has to answer to somebody right now, and I can tell you he probably doesn't like it. He's got to answer to Ari Emanuel and the other guys who owns the 51% of the goddamn TKO Sports. He cannot do whatever he wants to do anymore on a whim. And he can't just arbitrarily fire somebody. You got to run it through Ari Emanuel and the other 51% owners of, here you go, Mike Digital, Cage Side Seats reports. And Don, I told you I saw this earlier.
Yeah, that
TKO admits he could be a major liability to the business.
Johnny, that I will not deny. I will absolutely line up with you on that. I agree 100%. My issue is when I see stories like this, that there's nothing that's cited. There's no source inside. This is what somebody told somebody that told somebody that this website put out there. So I don't put any stock in what they're saying myself.
That's how all news stories break. That's how all news stories break.
Hey,
somebody who's inside told somebody who told somebody, and it goes out there. And this will all be corroborated. I'm sure it will be. The wrestling industry doesn't have their finger on the pulse of UFC, of the guys who were Endeavor, now TKO Sports. They're not linked up with them. If you're talking WrestlingInc.com, those guys are not linked up. They have no ends with the guys from goddamn TKO Sports. They don't have any connections there.
Right.
I'll trust our man Mike Digital, who said he's been Googling and researching. He sees nothing on the story. So this smells to me like a click. This smells to me like clicks, is what it smells like to me.
Too many details. Nope. Too many details. Too many details. Let's go over the details.
Hit it.
Behind the scenes, TKO first disclosed its registration plan on page 184 of an SEC filing early last month, and neither the company nor McMahon is commenting further. This filing for him to put all his shares for sale happened last month, and it's documented in an SEC filing. On first glance, it simply seems to be about giving McMahon flexibility, or maybe even giving TKO flexibility, given the ongoing investigation, particularly given that the subsequent registration statement filed last week doesn't include any underwriters. But that same filing says that McMahon, alongside two other TKO executives, will be selling stockholders in this offering. That's a definite verb tense penned by lawyers who are paid a lot of money to be accurate. Why this matters: McMahon's one of TKO's greatest assets, given his institutional knowledge of the business. That's why he participated in listing day at the New York Stock Exchange last Tuesday, despite being on medical leave related to spinal surgery, posing for photos with Endeavor CEO Ari Emanuel and UFC boss Dana White, and also, I might add, walking with a cane, having trouble going up and down steps, having trouble sitting down upright in a chair. He's also one of the greatest liabilities, not only for past misconduct, including payoffs to cover up alleged sexual misconduct, but because in July, I was wrong. I said June, it was July.
The tax man cometh.
He was served with both a federal search warrant and federal grand jury subpoena, although the nature of the investigation is unclear, and he hasn't yet been charged with a crime. TKO says in a regulatory filing, McMahon's membership on our board could expose us to negative publicity and or have adverse financial and operational impacts on our business. His membership also may result in additional scrutiny or otherwise exacerbate the other risks described herein. Any of these outcomes could be directly or indirectly have adverse financial and operational impacts on our business. They're going to pat him on the head and give him his money and send him on his way.
Yep.
It's done.
Let's go back to the big screen. Let's go back to the big screen.
Lay it out.
Go back to the big screen so we're all on there. I hear what you're saying.
Models.
I hear what this guy is saying. I understand what's being said here. I also believe that TKO firmly believes that Vince McMahon is a liability. None of that I'm denying at all. What I am saying is you're not moving that old bastard until he says you're moving, until he's ready to go.
Right.
You're not going to force him out.
What's the end game of this? What is the
end game? The end game is eventually I think you're going to see a lawsuit that's going to get filed if he doesn't go to jail. If the tax man, if the IRS can't get him, I think you're going to see the board try to vote him out. That's what I think you're going to get to.
It's not the IRS.
Well, whoever it was, like it was coming after him for financials, right? So
it was the FBI.
Yeah,
the FBI raided his house.
Well, right now the IRS has got goddamn guns, so who the hell knows who they were? I mean, that's just the way it is right now. You owe us $5 from 1998. Where is it?
The bottom line is
who are the guys involved? Who's everybody guilty right now? Who's guilty right now? Go Bottles.
Who's guilty right now is obviously the way it looks. It's bad. It's bad
optics.
It's a bad optics on Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon's got to go. They see it. They know it. And and obviously, if they're putting his shares up for sale, he agreed to this.
Allegedly.
There's no alleged to this. Axios is a reputable site.
Gotcha.
It's a reputable media site. It's no reputable to this. It just hasn't been confirmed by Meltzer, who would.
So here,
all those guys.
Uncle Dave.
No, if you're going to wait for that blowback.
No. Wait. I'm not even talking about that, right? I'm not talking about these wrestling idiots, right? This is nice. It's one source. I need to see somebody like Forbes or somebody like Wall Street put it in print that this is what's going on, that Vince McMahon is selling shares. Because until I see that, I can't get behind the story. I have no doubt. No doubt they are wanting him out of that position. I have no doubt that it's bad for the optics. I also have no doubt that Vince McMahon is going to go out on a slab before he gives up shares of that company.
He's already given up the shares of the company. They put them on the market. That's what I'm saying right now. His shares are on the market.
Allegedly.
He agreed to it.
No, there's no proof of that. It's just this one story, Bottles. It's this one story.
So you think Axios? If you think Axios is a reputable website who put a libelous article on, is that what you're trying to say?
All I'm saying is that in the 2003 year or 2002, every damn newspaper in the country said Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. Bullshit feeds bullshit. That's what I'm saying.
Don, are you wearing shorts?
I'm wearing a kilt.
Good.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not denying that TKO wants him out. What I am saying is that I don't believe his shares are up for sale right now at all. I don't buy it. I don't believe it. Until someone can say, hey, Vince McMahon has decided to sell his shares, I'm not going to buy it. I'm just not.
All righty.
Okay.
Brothers, to be continued.
To be continued. Rolling up.
Seems that way. What are we doing right now? What do we have left?
I don't know. I think that's it.
You got the lineup in front of you.
Nope, it's gone.
It's all gone. We covered everything.
It's all gone. I think we did. God knows.
I have.
This has been a god.
Later.
Okay, I promised people during the Classic Rock Echoes podcast that you, Dancing Don Wayne, was going to tell the hobo killer story. I want you to tell that story.
Oh,
go, Don. Go. Tell the hobo killer story for our people.
Okay.
You got responses? Go.
All right.
A man outside of time. 4:30 in the morning. Driving 4:30 a.m. Driving a truck.
So I'm home working one day, and I get a call from Motorhead, and it's like 9:30 here, so it's 6:30 his time. And I'm like, hey, man, he doesn't call me this early. Like, what the hell's going on, brother? He's like, Don, I thought I killed a goddamn hobo. I was like, what? So he lays out the story for me, right? And I can see this all happening in my head. I can see where this is going. He tells me blow by blow. He's driving his truck in the morning, right? It's one of them big-ass FedEx type trucks, right? The lights are shit. He can't see a whole lot.
Big
it's
box
5
truck.
in the
It's
morning.
not a step van. It's a big box truck.
Yeah, like a big-ass FedEx truck. So he's out there driving his truck, man. He's all jacked up on 2 Red Bulls. It's 5 in the morning. My man's got to get to the job site at 3 a.m. The sun's not up. He's driving into, let's call it San Francisco. We'll call it that town. He's driving in there, right? He gets off the exit ramp. He's coming around the turn. The headlights suck. The street lights are sort of going out. So it's in that in-between time where you can't see shit. And out of the corner of his right eye, jacked up on Red Bull, right 10 and 2 o'clock. Bam, bam! He hits what appears to be a sleeping bag in the middle of the road in his turn. Now, here's the key. In this city of San Francisco, hobos sleep in the street all the time. Or, here's the other part, they set up booby traps to get your ass in the middle of the street all the time. So what does Motorhead do? Motorhead panics and immediately pulls over right next to the body that he has just murdered. He looks down the street. And what does Motorhead see? He literally sees a scene out of 1984 with a group of hobos around a 50-barrel dumpster fire in the middle of the street.
With his big metal oil drums.
Does Motorhead pretend to not see them? No. Our beloved jackass Motorhead goes, hey, guys, what's going on? So if this is a murder scene, he now has witnesses. So he's all shit out of luck on this point, man. It's all gone to hell. Motorhead slowly, remember, it's 5 in the morning, jacked up on Red Bull. My man's had about 6 hours of sleep. He's trying to make his deliveries. He looks around the back of the truck. Son of a bitch, there's a black sleeping bag behind his wheel well. It's a real hobo. He has killed a hobo. So what does our boy Motorhead do in his mind? He says, well, I could get rid of the body, or I could take him to a hospital. I'm going to take this guy to a hospital, so let's get this going. Motorhead goes to grab the hobo. Wait, looks back. Hey, guys, make sure the witnesses see you for a second time as you grab the body. Goes, grabs the sleeping bag, and snatches on it like his life goddamn depends on it. And as he snatches it, he realizes it's a black trash bag covering a carpet that had fallen off a delivery truck that morning. He literally needed a drink and shit his pants at the same time. That is the hobo killer.
That is exactly right, Don. Thank you, brother. That was straight up, and I was scared for my life. Thank you. Fucking perfect. That's exactly what happened. Exactly
Jesus
what happened.
Christ.
So that is why we call my man the hobo killer. And no, Dwayne, they were not singing shit. They were about to put his ass in jail because he was panicked beyond belief. My man called me and said, Don, if there was a bar open, I'd call in dead for the rest of the day and start drinking.
Yep. Thank you, Don.
To the hobo killer.
So now you guys know why these two call me the hobo killer.
The hobo killer.
That story, man. And that scared the living shit out of me. Don nailed it perfectly. Love you, brother. Thank you.
Take us home, Bottle.
Folks, we are the Squared Circle Maniacs, also known as the SCM. We're on Twitter. Just hashtag SCM. You'll see all our posts if you search for that on Twitter. We're a group of like-minded individuals that love professional wrestling, love football, love classic rock, love all kinds of music. You can't pigeonhole us on the music part of it. We love it all. And we love a lot of wrestling. All I can say is we're fans of professional wrestling.
Big fans.
We shit on AEW when it's deserved. But
and
last night they had a show.
Praise it like
we
today.
praised it. We also shit on a lot of things from WWE. Impact, we don't really watch Impact. Who wants to see a show that's, what I got, 87,000 viewers, 100,000 viewers? No one watches that. MLW is a small blip on the radar screen. NWA Power, our previous home, the previous channel we were on.
Moving on.
I almost said those words.
Yep.
Almost said those words.
Man. Not doing it.
Totem pole.
No, we're not doing it. Take us home. Take me home.
We're live. Folks, if you like what you saw today, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed and you're new to us, please subscribe because we need the money. Now, we're actually not making any money off of this, but please subscribe. That's about it. That's all I can say.
Hit the button.
Brothers,
hit the button.
Always good to hang with you guys. We never met personally, but in the interweb, we are fucking straight up blood brothers. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Appreciate all you guys coming out. All you guys who watch the show, we appreciate it. Appreciate your support. If you want to join the SCM, that man right below me, his hashtag is right there at his handle at Motorhead711. Just contact him. You can join the SCM. It doesn't cost you any money. You're just privy to a lot of our posts, a lot of our DMs, the crazy shit we get into. And we're going to turn it over right now to the great Gordon Soley.
Until next week, Gordon Soley saying so long from the Sunshine State.